that you can stop me. I'm fully independent, there's no label who can drop me. Y'all been starting rumors, let me help you with some. Yeah, y'all can't cancel me. My life is scandal free. There ain't no sponsors taking losses cause the brand is me. My hands are clean, my family and my fans agree. Y'all can't cancel me for facts because you're mad and weak. How's a man say I'm clickbait if he gonna use this face to get clicks on his page? Y'all hypocrites are made. But I ain't tripping about these bullies, it ain't 6th grade. Go ahead and diss me trying to sell a couple mixtapes. I am not playing it safe, I said what I said, it is what it is.
I don't care if you mad at me, okay? Go ahead and change the channel. Don't waste your time trying to cancel me, okay? They love me cause they know that I'm it. Say what you want, I guess it is what it is. Haters can talk, but they can't cancel the kid. Go ahead and go off, try and say this is it.
Aaron Tuttle here. It's storm season in Oklahoma, and with that comes torrential rain, high winds, and hail. To protect your home and your family from these threats, the one roofing company you should trust is Ferguson Roof Systems. They've been providing the best in roofing services for nearly half a century. Ferguson is Oklahoma's full-service roofing company, certified with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating and a 5-star rating on Google. And with Ferguson now offering Class 4 impact-resistant shingles, now is the time to trust them with your home's roof. Get started today at FergusonRoofSystems.com. Hey everyone, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle here with you. It is Friday, and let's see, what time is it? Almost 12 o'clock. We're going to do a lunchtime live for you, get you caught up on what you can expect here for the upcoming weekend. And then we're also going to talk about Monday. You know, is Monday really going to be that bad? Is there another severe weather event coming up? All that stuff and more. So thanks for joining me. I'm still loading up a few things here on my end, because it takes forever for me to get things rolling. All right, so that's good. That's going. All right, got to load up the comments here so I can glance down and see them every now and then. And I see you, Janet. Appreciate you sending me some 99 stars here on the Facebook Live. All right, so let's get on with it, shall we? First things first, if you would normally watch me on YouTube, once again, YouTube is just not working. I swear, it's every other time it works. I don't do the same thing every time, and just whatever. So we'll have to move on. I laugh because otherwise I would cry myself to sleep. You guys have no idea how many technical difficulties happen just behind the scenes that, man. Whoa. All right, let's get on with it. So we got some rain, of course, we saw over the last couple of days, that big storm system. So here's a look at where the heavy stuff fell, and that was down here in south central southern Oklahoma, up through the McAllister region, then back out toward Fort Smith, Arkansas, another hot spot down here in the southeast. So I mentioned kind of the southeastern third getting the most rain with the potential for some flash flooding for this event, and that did turn out to be the case, unfortunately too much. And the orange shading, it's up around 6, 7, possibly some pockets of up to 8 inches of rain. That is way too much rain, even in a 2-day period. So that was one of the highlights for this past storm system. The other, of course, was a big hailstorm that went through the south end of town, started out around Pecasset, Fort Cobb, and then back up through Norma and Stella, with the worst of the hail kind of in between this corridor from south of Newcastle, between there and just right in up Norman itself. And then it kind of slowly started getting smaller after that. And that was an interesting storm system. Then we have the tornado that happened around midnight in Pauls Valley. This is the latest from the National Weather Service on that. I'm just going to read it to you because the text is pretty small. So let me get this centered for you so you can see it. I don't know if you can even read it. Or see it. I'm just going to read it to you. They rated as a EF1 tornado. And that's winds around 105 to 110 miles per hour estimated. So if you watched me live that night, I talked about how it was going to be a upper end EF1, possibly low end EF2, so that puts it right about that category. Let's see, the summary, this tornado formed approximately 4 miles north of Wynnewood along the Cherokee Sandy Creek and moved northeast. Access to the entire track was limited by the flooded areas, but the tornado appears to have moved through relatively open country for 1.8 miles before striking a small farm on North County Road 3285. The tornado destroyed one barn and damaged another on the south end of the farm, and destroyed a larger barn on the north side of the farm. Home nearby also sustained broken windows and numerous trees and uprooted trees, outbuildings, property was damaged or destroyed. Several power poles broke in. So typical stuff for tornadoes. Let's see, it moved through relatively open country after that, and it struck another farm on County Road 3290. A section of the home's roof was removed, barn destroyed, another barn on the farm, and several trees damaged or uprooted. And it continued more through open country before dissipating about 1/2 mile northeast of the farm. So the overall path was about 4 miles, and it only did damage in 2 places in that 4 mile period because it was overall at open farmland. So that's the best news, even though I feel sorry for those folks that did get hit by the tornado, of course. I'm just thankful to go into the main town or the main cities, because that's when things get really bad really fast. So that's the latest on that tornado. Now, are we going to see tornadoes on Monday? Well, remember, we're out beyond the 48-hour window that I talked about for tornadoes, but we will take a look at what the data suggests may happen here in eastern Oklahoma and in central Oklahoma as well, that the National Weather Service has highlighted. Now, historically, in the analog data for this setup for this day on Monday, it does indicate severe weather here across a larger area. This is all severe reports. Now, if I turn this over to wind, it kind of shrinks it down to eastern Oklahoma. If I turn it over to hail, it expands a little bit into Dallas, Texas, and down southward up north. And for the tornado, it does have a little bit of a tornado risk here in the southeast part of the state. So this is just comparing a similar type event. Will we get the similar type of outcome? And those things don't always pan out, but they're at least some guidance to take a look at. Okay, so it all depends on where this front is and the things that happen along with it. So this is taking a look at Monday afternoon. Now I'm looking at the older European data, which has kind of a surface low here over central Oklahoma. And the newer European data, which I'll show you in a minute, actually puts in dry air in this corridor. Now it's called a dry slot. So that usually brings in much drier humidity, lower dew points, and it shuts down any rain percentage. And what happens is you have to have enough forcing along this front to get the storms to go. All right, so that's what we're watching for on Monday, is that frontal boundary, how much dry air sneaks in ahead, and then notice all the juice, which is all in the purple shading, is out here in eastern Oklahoma and Arkansas and northeast Texas. That's where all your true moisture is going to be. There will be a cap in place, but that's where the best instability and overall shear, etc., will be. Now, if I look at, here's a look at the Canadian model. It's got a lot of dry air that filters up in here. There's that little thin band of moisture forced along the front, which is normal. But before that front arrives, it scours out the moisture, which means you have to get just some elevated storms that fire up along this front. Now, those elevated storms could be big-time hailers, hail producers. I'll show you that in a second. American model has the front by the evening hours way out here in eastern Oklahoma and southeastern Oklahoma. And then the UK Met is a European type model, and it's got to kind of split the difference from Tulsa down to South Oklahoma City. Now, that's the older data. When I go into the new data for the NAM, and I'm going to go, so this is our mesoscale models, and everything matters. So here's Monday morning. It's got the surface low here, which is basically where the European had it, but it's going to be a lot quicker in development. We'll see if the new European model that comes in later today, if it speeds up with the rest of the models. But at lunchtime, the new low is now kind of falling apart, but it's now over here. And so what that does is it drags the cold front already through central Oklahoma and down south by lunchtime Monday. All right. Now, if this happens, this greatly reduces any chance of severe weather here in central Oklahoma. And then it forces it all out ahead of the front in this quadrant of the state. So there is a lot to be unveiled, for Monday afternoon's potential. I can tell you eastern Oklahoma, eastern third, no problem. If we're trying to talk anything west of, say, Tulsa south, let's say draw a line from Tulsa south, points west, that's still a big question mark because of the position where the final front will be and then how much dry air comes in out ahead of it and the timing of all of that. Now, if we just take a look at the NAM model, I did post a forecast sounding grid point right, I believe it was on the southeast side of town, so kind of close to Norman, as that front's coming through. And I want to show you what potentially can happen with this. So it's got the north-northwest wind here at from the surface to about 500 meters. So that's the depth of the cold air. It's the north front. But that's just as coming in, so it hasn't affected the model performance on the temperatures yet, which I think we're peaked out around 80. So it looks like it did cool it down a couple degrees. So there is a little bit of a cap here, but as long as we can hit 80, looks like we should have no problem breaking the cap. Now, if we don't have a problem breaking the cap, so it's not a tornado signature with this, but it is a significant hail, and some analog goes back anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 inches in diameter. Again, that's up to grapefruit size hail. So could be some elevated thunderstorms that produce some pretty large hail, if you believe the NAM model. Now, the European model, like I said, is a little slower. Now, its output has both a lot of hail, ranging from golf ball to grapefruit size hail again. However, it has the wind profile to be extremely favorable for a tornado. This is not a tornado forecasting model. This is a global model. It doesn't handle tornadoes. It's not designed to. Our mesoscale models are. I'm just putting this out there because there's going to be a lot of talk of what's going to happen on Monday once you know the uncertainty that's out there that we'll have to watch for. But right now, I think hail is going to be our primary threat. It's the only thing I'm kind of really focused on unless things change dramatically in what I'm seeing so far in the trends. Now, what about rainfall? Let's go into the weekend forecast for you. Okay, so this is for the rest of today. Rain down south into Texas. And as we head into Saturday, you do see some of that rainfall crossing over the Red River, but it doesn't get very far. There's some isolated showers that pop in, and they make it probably as north as, we call it I-40. And then so that does make it barely here in Oklahoma City Metro. So you might get some isolated showers Saturday afternoon. Those things will diminish. The rest of the rain is kind of in the southeast Oklahoma through Sunday morning as the system exits Texas. So you can see definitely some stronger storms there in southeastern Texas with that upper level low. This is the same storm system that plagued us there for a couple of days. So it's a very slow mover. Temperature wise, this is how it looks like for your weekend. Gorgeous. So we're chilly tomorrow morning. 50s out there statewide. In the afternoon, we're in the mid 70s. I mean, that's nice. Tulsa 76, Oklahoma City 75. Now, there is a little cloud cover, of course, that'll come in from the south. So roughly the southern half of the state will be mostly cloudy. The northern half of the state will be partly cloudy. So it's still a fairly decent day. South winds around 10 to 20 miles per hour. On Sunday morning, we'll be in the low 60s, a little bit stickier, a little juicier in the mornings. As we head into the afternoon, we're looking about 77 here in Oklahoma City, 76 in Tulsa, so very good temperature-wise. Now, it will be quite cloudy Sunday morning across the entire state. And then as we go through the day and the afternoon, it'll slowly clear out, and we'll see a little bit more sun each hour. But it won't be, perfectly sunny day like today. Today, my goodness, I mean, let me show you. Look at that. I'm telling you, man, it's just gorgeous out there. Woo. All right, and Jody's already planting plants. She's out there right now digging holes. So she's on it. Rainfall amounts like I talked about, it's all confined into Texas. You get underneath one of these little heavier showers, you may pick up a quick 1/4 of an inch. The models do try to hint at that here. Otherwise, you can see how the rainfall shield barely gets any further north than I-40 here in central Oklahoma. And this stuff in eastern Oklahoma will come in for Sunday morning as that system lifts out. Temperatures over the next couple of days into next week, we can see the roller coaster ride continues. So from the 70s to around 80 on Monday, and then we're back into the 70s for next week. Then back into the 80s, and we'll kind of do this up and down all over again. Chilly morning, looks like May the 5th. So, all right, so that is what I've got for you here for today. So I appreciate you joining me here for lunchtime. And I hope that your weekend is going to be fantastic. Make of it what you can. And thanks for tuning in and following me and supporting me during the week, and realizing that there is an alternative for severe weather coverage and forecasting that won't scare the pants off of you every time. You can also get my weather app. It's free. It's called AT's Weather to Go. It will alert you when storms come in that are rough to deal with. For example, the one in Norman and west of there. You guys that have my app got notified. Those that do not use my app did not. So I suggest use my weather app. Again, it's called AT's Weather to Go. It's free on Apple and Google Play. And that's it from me for the weekend. I will do another weather update probably, Saturday, but for sure Sunday. Let's talk about Monday's outlook, and I also do a blog. Usually do a blog once a week. It's every Sunday afternoon, so kind of look for that as well. All right, guys, well, have a great rest of your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk again soon. Take care.